When you like for everyone I guess to kind of like picture the scale of where you're at, walk me through like kind of each year you started and like the amount of revenue you guys collected.
I mean, when I first started in high ticket sales, bro, I think I was making like 1 to 2K a month. Like it was nothing. And then this month we're pacing 120. So pretty decent jumps. And that's only been like a year and a half, which is not that long.
What's been your biggest month and why were you guys able to achieve success during that month?
I think it was this month, which is about 120. I think it just comes down to having really good systems, plus having a really good team, good sales reps. I stopped hiring novices and training them up, and I just started focusing on bringing on the best talent and just compensating them well and just having them with me, just building a good culture. Once you have that in place, it's a lot easier to scale.
How do you go about recruiting reps? Like what do you look for? Where do you find them?
So just from my content, I get a lot of people that hit me up. Plus, I know a lot of people in the industry as well. And the nature of the offers that we manage, because they're doing a couple 100,000 a month each, we're able, like, reps know that they're going to make good money on this offer. It's stable, it prints, and it's a reputable name. So I'm able to attract the best talent.
Do you how do you keep these reps to kind of like stay with your team versus like, maybe getting poached by another guy with another agency? Like how do you mitigate employee churn?
It's a really good question. Honestly, the thing that I found that has worked the best, because I used to work for another agency before I started mine, where churn was extremely high. And the one thing that I noticed with that agency is they viewed everyone as replaceable, right? Like setters, they were just kind of like this piece, the bigger machine. And if they could, who cares? Closer, same thing. So I didn't like that approach. So with my agency, I treat everyone essentially like family. Like I really want to get to know you on a personal level. I want to help you out with your personal life if something's happening, right? I want to actually build a strong personal relationship with you, and it just makes it a lot harder for someone to quit because, well, they're making good money. Plus, we have that connect. Like we're boys at this point. You get what I mean?
Do you so when someone tries to work with you, do you take on people who have no experience or do they have to have some sort of experience, some sort of kind of case study and proof?
I used to, but not anymore. It just it just doesn't make sense to take on someone who doesn't have experience, because why would I? When I have talent that does have experience.
So you started off as a sales rep and then you kind of made your way to a sales manager.
Mhm.
How does like if someone maybe their sales rep is starting to get better, they're starting get on better offers, they're closing more. When do they kind of like make that pivot, or should they kind of make that pivot into being a sales manager? Like how did you kind of like what was your thought process when switching between a sales rep to a sales manager?
The advice that I give anyone, because I have a lot of people that hit me up ask me the same question, and I tell everyone the same thing. Why do you want to become a sales manager? Right? Because the grass is not always greener. Some people like the idea of managing, but the reality of it isn't as attractive. Right? So, first of all, you got to figure out your why. Why do you want to manage? Yes, you won't be taking closing calls, but you're going to be dealing with your own unique set of headaches. Is that something that you really want to do? And on top of that, a lot of the time, managers actually make less money than the sales reps and the closers. Unless it's like a really big offer and you're managing a lot of closers, then yes, you can make a lot more money. So, to anyone that's thinking about transitioning, really think about why you want to do that and if the pros outweigh the cons. If that is the case and it is the right move for you, what I always tell everyone that wants to make that transition is make it on the offer that you're on. So make it known to whoever is running the offer, like, yo, right now I'm closing, but I want to move into management. So what does that transition look like for me? And start slowly working your way up, right? Become a team lead and then take on more responsibilities. Start doing more trainings. Maybe start contributing to the hiring process and then transition until you're a full time manager.
How do you obviously for the last few years we've kind of seen a lot of growth, but we've also seen a lot of progress with like AI. A lot of
Mhm.
businesses incorporating AI, sales teams, blah blah blah. How um how have you guys kind of like what's your thoughts on AI? Have you guys leveraged AI to, add tools for your sales teams? Like where's your stance with AI right now?
I think AI has helped make things a lot more streamlined for us. So, for example, if we onboard a new client, right, creating sales scripts, creating copywriting, marketing material, ad creatives, because we've built our own in-house GPT and we fed it all of the data that we have just because we have so much data from the sales calls, the coaching calls, the copywriting, all that good stuff. So it just speeds things up a lot. And it also helps me as a sales manager because I handle more of the sales side. So, for example, if a rep didn't close a call, I just copy the transcript, plug it into the GPT, and it spits out exactly what went wrong. That way, I don't have to sit through an hour long call. I can just take a look at the notes and I can hit them up and be like, yo, this is what you have to do differently. And it's trained based off my sales philosophy and my sales coaching style. So it just essentially gives us a lot more leverage.
Do you think that sales reps, obviously like AI voice is not to that point yet, but do you see in like the next 10 years that AI might start to actually take on some of the roles as being a sales rep, or do you think it's never going to get to that point?
In 10 years, I think DM setting will probably get replaced. Phone setting, it might be tough. I mean, AI is evolving very fast. So maybe. I think closing, though, I don't see that happening anytime soon. Especially as AI becomes more widespread, I think people are going to crave that human to human interaction even more. And they're going to be turned off by the idea of hopping on a sales call with AI.
Do you guys see like AI making sales reps more powerful? And what I mean by that is, do you see you know a sales rep, instead of role playing with a friend or a buddy, they role play with AI voice or all of these kind of AI tools that you can build? Do you think that a sales rep, they should also be learning AI literacy along with developing their sales skill in order to become a more powerful sales rep?
Absolutely. So one thing that I have all my AI, sorry, all of my sales reps doing is using AI in their actual process. So for example, let's say I'm a setter and I just had a call. I would copy the transcript, paste it into ChatGPT, and I would just have it create notes for the closer instead of me typing them up, right? I would also have the AI review my call for me. So it would tell me what I did well, what I could have done better, what things I missed. That way you don't have to depend on me as much, and you can just refer to the AI. Maybe even asking questions about the offer, right? Because we teach the AI our offers as well. So you don't have to come to me as much. You can just hit up the AI and just ask it questions about the offer that you need.
What's the worst sales advice you've ever heard?
The worst sales advice? It's a good question. The worst sales advice. That's a really good question. I'm not sure. Let me think about that. The worst sales advice. I think the worst sales advice is if someone is giving you an objection, just be super aggressive with you asking for the sale. Like consistently ask for the sale. And I think the reason why it was so bad is because when someone's giving you an objection, their guard is already up. There's a lot of sales resistance. So when you're just pushing back on them, it's just going to increase that resistance and you're not going to close. I would say that was the worst advice I got.
What's some of the biggest like limiting beliefs that new reps have when they come into the industry?
You got some good questions, bro. I'll be honest. Limiting beliefs. One of them, I think, is not realizing how much control you have over your outcomes. So, just to give you an example, let's say I'm a new closer, right? If I don't have a lot of qualified calls booked on my calendar, a lot of closers they just sit and do nothing, right? But they don't realize that you can just pick up the phone and dial it yourself. You can hit up leads that you didn't close. You can call no shows. You can source your own leads. So there's a lot that you can do by yourself.
Do you think that we have a lot of distractions, we have a lot of social media, there's all these things kind of stimulating us. Do you think that the overall quality of sales reps is getting worse or getting better?
Definitely getting worse. The reason I say that is because there's a lot of these sales coaches or sales mentors that are popping up left and right, and most of them have never either sold anything. Like, I'll give you an example. There was a girl that I interviewed for a closing role, and I remember I first spoke with her, and she told me she had zero sales experience. She actually just graduated from a sales mentorship program from someone that I don't even know, right? And I was like, I can't hire you. Sorry, you don't have experience. I can bring you on as a seller potentially, but like that's it. She says no, she wants to be a closer. And then she pops up on my Instagram like 2 weeks later, and I realize that she has her own sales coaching program. But I'm like, you've never taken a call in your life. You've never been on an offer before. And it's just these horrible sales mentors that just keep popping up left and right. And they're just flooding the market by selling people the dream of high ticket sales. And there's just a lot of garbage being pumped into the market.
Where do you see you mentioned that there's everyone wants to go in, start their own offer, be their own creator. Where do you see the future of info?
I think info is only going to go up. I think it's only going to go. I am seeing a lot of people wanting to go down the online course route instead of the traditional college route, just because people are realizing that it doesn't make sense for me to pay or to go into 200K debt and not even get a job and get a useless degree when I can pay someone like 5 grand and learn an actual skill set, like sales, for example. So I think that demand is only going to keep growing, and especially with social media, because you've probably seen this as well. There's a lot of young kids making a lot of money, right? And none of them are doing it through college. They're doing it through the online, making money online. I think that's going to influence even more people and just continue growing the market.
So let's say someone, they don't want to go to college, but they want to educate themselves. Maybe they have YouTube, they have these free resources, but they're like, okay, I want to try, maybe I want to try a course.
Mm.
What should they be looking for? Do they want to look for someone who's like a one-on-one course, like a digital course? Like what should they be looking for? What are they going to get the most value, per dollar out of?
Probably going to get a lot of hate for saying this, but the number one thing that you want to look for when buying a course or a mentorship is, does the person selling it actually follow the thing that they teach? So if you're looking to buy an Amazon mentorship, does the guy selling it actually do Amazon himself? Because you wouldn't believe the amount of people that sell something that they don't even do themselves. So I would say that's the most important thing.
Do you think that the info space is getting a lot more competitive, or do you think that just people are coming in, they don't know what they're doing, and it's more like just the bottom's getting competitive, but the top's still kind of the same?
I think different parts of the industry are getting more competitive. Like there are certain offers that are dying out, and there are new offers that are really trending. Like anything AI related is just completely popping off. Anything like the old agency model is just not doing as good. But I think traditional like biz op offers will always do good, as long as you have good creatives, good copy, good marketing, and good sales team.
Do you think that someone, looking to start an info offer, do they have to run ads? Do they have to post content? Like, is there, have you seen weird kind of spin-offs where someone does something, unique that's not really talked about or not really thought of?
I've seen people do influencer marketing, so they would have influencers promote their offer. It's not too common, but I have seen it work. But I think organic by far is the most powerful thing you can do. Ads just help scale things a lot quicker, but organic by far is the most valuable thing.
Do you think Instagram or YouTube is better if you kind of had to pick one? Obviously,
YouTube,
doing both is best, but YouTube.
100 million%.
And what makes you think that?
Think of it like this, bro. If you are on Instagram and you saw a video about, let's say, Amazon, did you look that video up or did it just show up on your For You page? It just showed up, right? So you're not actively looking into Amazon. But if you go on YouTube, right, YouTube is one of the biggest search engines in the world. Most of the views on a video talking about starting an Amazon business are people looking up how to start an Amazon business. So it's like you're selling to your target audience and they're sitting through a long video and just getting nurtured and then they get on a call with you.
So, over the last week or so, I would say Sora was a big thing. Everyone was posting those videos.
Mm.
Where did you see that? Like, do you think that, short form content is mainly going to transition into like AI content? Do you think we'll have AI creators who have info offers? Like, what's your thoughts on that whole realm of things?
But I've seen all sorts of crazy stuff. I saw this guy who was making, I think, 100K per month and he had an AI OnlyFans girl, which is something I would not like, bro. That's just pure degeneracy. But like, if it works for him, it works, right? I've seen a lot of people creating AI UGC content and breaking down other people's videos, and I've seen that work really well alongside that. So I definitely think AI is gonna be flooding the market with more and more content, and it's getting more difficult to differentiate between AI content and actual human content. Like even myself, bro, I just watched the video today. I'm like, yo, wait, what? This is actually AI. So it's getting scary.
Do you obviously Meta, one of Meta's big plays is kind of to have everyone in like that virtual reality world. They have the Oculus on. Where do you see kind of the future of media? Do you think people are gonna want to kind of immerse themselves in, actual wearable technology? And do you think that like short form content is gonna kind of merge into something else, or where do you see the future of that?
I'll be honest with you, bro. I have no clue when it comes to that. That's something completely outside of my area of expertise. So we'll just have to see.
What are you most excited about?
When it
You know,
comes to
there's
info,
yeah, well, like when it comes to info, but you see all this, there's a lot of change, a lot of technology. Everyone kind of feels like things are, getting faster and faster and faster. What's some of the like kind of new things that are kind of popping out that you're very excited about?
I think just the use cases of AI. I think it's just gonna make everything a lot more convenient. Like the speed at which you can move is just becoming a lot more. It's just becoming a lot more leveraged. Right? What used to take 2 weeks to get done can be done in 30 seconds, which is insane. And it's only gonna improve. And I think the people that stay ahead of the curve will be rewarded massively. And anyone that's not keeping up, there's gonna be left behind.
I've seen a lot of agency offers, info offer creators pivot into more of like SaaS. What's your thoughts behind that? Do you think that's like the best play? Like if you have a successful agency and you're kind of looking for the next step, you also have an info offer. Is SaaS the only other alternative you have, or what's your thoughts on that?
I wouldn't say the only alternative, but I would say it's the most logical one. It's the most logical next step. Because if you can build a successful agency and you're very well versed in that space, you can most likely come up with a SaaS that solves a problem for that space. And managing a SaaS and selling it if you've already sold an agency isn't that difficult. But the value that you get from actually owning a SaaS company is the enterprise value that you can build. If I have an agency doing 1 million a month, it is very difficult for me to sell that agency. But if I have a SaaS doing 1 million a month, I can get a lot of money when I sell that. So that's why people are transitioning.
Do you think if someone's starting out, they should go straight to, trying to build a SaaS because of all these tools like, Lovable and it kind of makes it easier to create an MVP? Do you think that that's a better route to go? Do you think the agency route is still one of the best routes to go for someone kind of starting out?
I think neither. I think if you're just starting out, you should not be focusing on starting a business. I think you need to learn a skill set first. Because let's say you do build a SaaS. Well, what problem are you solving? You don't even know what problems exist. Same with the agency, right? Everyone else has an agency. If you're just starting out, how are you going to compete? Learn a skill set, get really good at that, leverage that skill set into a business, and then take it one step at a time.
What's been one of the hardest, moments of your life, and how are you able to get through that?
That's a good question. Um, I would say probably like 8 months ago, 8, 9 months ago. I think that was one of the lowest points of my life because I lost a lot of my clients. I lost my biggest clients. It was just something that was happening in my personal life. I was owed a lot of money and I was facing a lot of problems just in my personal and professional life as well. And it just felt like absolutely nothing was working. Like literally nothing was going my way. And what really kept me going, just personally I'm a very religious person, which is my faith in God. I just kept telling myself that no matter how big my problems were, God is bigger. And if I just trust Him and I have full faith in Him, He will find a way out for me. That's exactly what happened. It didn't come easily, but it did come.
Do you so there's all of these how do I put this? There's a lot of people kind of going into the learning kind of like AI literacy. Do you think that that is one of the most, highest value skills you can learn? Like what, like if someone, if you kind of had three skills that you could learn and you only could learn those three skills, what would those three skills be?
The thing with learning AI just by itself, because ultimately AI is a tool, right? If I teach you how to use a drill, but you don't know anything else, what are you going to do with the drill? Right? Same thing with AI. If you get really good at using AI and prompting AI and maybe building with AI, but you don't know anything else, what's the point? There's no use cases for that tool. What I would tell anyone is learn sales. I think sales is by far the most valuable skill that anyone can have. Second thing is people management. Learn to manage people. If you can sell and you can manage people, you will never go broke. And if you really wanted to learn a third skill, I would say marketing. I'll say those are the three best skills you can learn.
So Charlie Munger, if you're familiar with him, he's a
Mm,
big fan of inverse thinking. So
mm.
if you have, and I think it's a very useful principle. If you had to sabotage a sales team, how would you go about it?
Sabotage a sales team in what way?
Like if you had a sales team and you wanted to destroy that sales team, it was a competitive sales
Mm,
team, what would you do?
okay. First of all, I would have zero speed to lead. Non-existent. Take your time with calling leads. Make sure that you never follow up. Call them once, and that's it. And then I would also say do zero discovery and just pitch them right away. You do those few things, watch your sales drop to zero.
Do you what's your thoughts on, I kind of get mixed opinions on this, but what's your thoughts on you know, super kind of high ticket, maybe 3 or 4 clients versus like, 40, 50 clients, more medium kind of ticket?
I mean, what's easier to manage? 3 people or 50, right? Why would you take on the headache of 50 people when you can make the same amount of money with 3 people? I would always go for high ticket. I think low ticket is stupid, in my opinion. If it's not being leveraged to help you make more high ticket.
What's your what's like in the info space, where do you see kind of the highest ticket? Like who's the what's the biggest kind of ticket things? We obviously, you have some big players. You also have a lot of, in-person events. You have all these kind of different offers. You have, Hormozi's book launch who, did 9 figures. You have all these kind of bigger, ticket things. What's like the highest ticket things in info?
Typically, the highest ticket products are products that give you a lot of one-on-one support and solve a very big problem. Like I've seen 50K tickets for an Amazon business, right? That they will build an Amazon business for you and they will guarantee that it will make like an X amount of money. And it's all fully done for you. So usually things that are done for you and one-on-one and they solve a big problem are very high ticket.
If someone came and took everything away from you, how would you start again? How would you rebuild?
It's a really good question, bro. You got some really good questions. How would I rebuild? If I had to start from scratch, do I still have my experience and my knowledge?
You have yeah, you have your experience, you have your knowledge, but you have no money and no resources and no connections.
If I had no money, no connections, no resources, first thing I would do is start posting content about sales, which is what I'm doing, which is what I'm good at, and then try to find a sales role as fast as possible, whether it's through my content or just straight up outreach or just applying to jobs. Get a sales role, crush, become a top performer, and then using that money, I will start running ads and start my own offer.
How how do you see, so you see a lot of reps, you have all kinds of reps come in. How do you like do you are you able to look at reps and you're like, okay, this person's, they're gonna be amazing right off the bat? Is it more like a slow kind of gradual process? How do you identify those kind of like A player type reps?
Honestly, bro, those type of reps make it known that they're those type of reps. Like you can very clearly tell this person is a savage. This person is an absolute killer of a rep. And those reps are very, very rare because they're very good at what they do. Plus, they're very coachable. Most reps that are good are not coachable. They have a very high ego. So when you find that combination, like you found your guy.
And how do you let's say, someone's lucky enough to find a few of those kind of like A type reps. How do you, keep them with your team versus some other team, since they obviously can kind of, they're talented and they're having other people reach out to them, how do you incentivize them to stay with you?
So for those types of reps, there's three things I would say they look for. First, earning potential. Can they make good money with the offer that you have? Second thing is minimal admin work. Because some offers, they just love to bombard their reps with so much stupid admin work for no reason, and it pisses them off. The third thing is do they feel like they're consistently growing and getting coaching in your environment? If you have those three things, then for the most part, you can keep them with you for a very long time.
As we're wrapping up, if you had to ask, if you had a magic wand and you could visit, your younger self, what would that advice be that you would give your younger self?
If I can go back in time and give my younger self advice,
Hmm.
take way more risks. Take way more risks and just volume. That's what I would say. Really good question, by the way.
Sweet, awesome. Where can everyone find you?
So I'm on Instagram. And I'm going to be starting to post on YouTube soon at Abood Qadri. ABOODQADRI.
Sweet, awesome, and that will all be linked in the description below as well. Brother, I appreciate you jumping on here. I appreciate your time. It was a fantastic conversation, and
Likewise, bro.
yeah, yeah.
Appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, 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 of course, man. Um, How's that?